Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dish Vlog, or the Dish Pit, whatever thing I'm going to end up calling this. The ever-popular video series where I spend about 50 minutes washing dishes, and in that time, record several different vlogs to be edited and posted while I'm on spring break, and therefore don't want to do any work. Wrong faucet volume. So anyway, I've got quite a few topics that I've been saving up for a long time that I've wanted to talk about, but I've never really found the right avenue for, because I've wanted to talk about these things, and each of them could, say, get their own, like, full-length, edited, 20-minute video essay video, but that's kind of lame. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to do something so that things are moving on screen, and I'm going to talk about them while I do a chore which I find generally to be very unpleasant. So the first thing is my Crunchyroll Anime Awards reaction. Now, every anime YouTuber under the sun, I'm sure, has talked about this at length already. But I wanted to get my view out there, and that is that this year, they actually didn't suck. Which was surprising, considering how badly last year's sucked. Last year's were bad. Yuri on Ice basically cleaned up every award, and I cannot stand Yuri on Ice in any capacity whatsoever. So, I very much disagreed with basically everything that the awards are about for 2016. However, this year, we had another show clean up everything, which was My Hero Academia. Now, I do not particularly care that much for My Hero Academia. I think it's a cool show. It looks nice. It's all pretty and wooshy colors and has a lot of nice characters that people can get behind. So, you know what? I'm okay with that. You know, a lot of the character awards went to My Hero Academia, like Best Boy, Best Girl both went to My Hero Academia. Best Animation went to it, which I think was deserved considering its bones, and some of the animation cuts in that show were pretty spectacular, I'm not gonna lie. Best OP, Best Ending should not have gone to it, I will say though, and that was kind of bullshit. And I think that just the popularity of the show kind of ran away with the popularity of the openings and the endings, but you know what, that's okay, because music is such a consensus thing that you just never really know how those events are going to end up panning out. So, everything there, you know, My Hero cleaning up, basically, like, I think 60% of the awards or something obscene like that. Okay, because it was an actual, like, phenomenon within anime. Yuri on Ice is bullshit. It's terrible queer representation, and it's just overall not a very deep show. Not a lot going on in it, so having it clean up literally every award last year was very annoying. I wanted to make that dichotomy very clear, because, you know, basically TLDR, last year, a show that wasn't good got a lot of awards and recognition, but this year, a show that was good and just wasn't my thing got a lot of awards and recognition. So, you know what? Okay. But what I wanted to specifically highlight in regard to the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and I had written a video on this in some capacity. I think I got about 70% through the script, but as I'm kind of discovering more and more with my YouTube career, video essays aren't really my thing, because I hate editing. I used to think that I loved video editing. I hate video editing. In any, like, tedious capacity. Like, the little Rainbow Six videos that I do, or, like, the vlog that I did, those are fun as shit to edit because I get to do a bunch of inventive things. But with video editing, or video essay editing for, like, anime, what I've noticed is that, you know, apparently for the copyright rules, you're allowed to use footage of anime, but you can only use 15-second clips at a time. So you can only have a maximum of a 15-second clip showing at any one given time, which means that in order to illustrate your point, say if you're going over something visually, you have to take like 50 million different edits of one scene and try to splice them together in one place. That's not fun. That's not inventive. I can't get creative with that. So it just gets boring, and it kind of hits... Now, that's kind of the wall I run into every time I try to do an anime video essay, because I swear to you, I had like 4 or 5 scripts written up that I could record at any time, but editing is just not something that I really want to do, and like paying an editor, I don't have that kind of money yet. I don't have that kind of clout or popularity on YouTube, or like to be able to start a Patreon, say, to hire an editor and pay them because I pay them more than minimum wage to edit my videos, because that's how I believe people should be paid, especially if you're doing something as boring and tedious as splicing 15-second anime clips together. Because, I mean, that's a pain in the ass to do. I won't do it, so I'm not going to, like, pay somebody $10.50 an hour, which is where it is in my state, or what it is in my state, to do that. I'm going to probably give them, like, $11 an hour, because that just seems fair to me. Or, you know, whatever their commission price is. I don't really know how it all works. So, you know, there's also that. But anyway, one of the things that I had a video essay written up on was the fact that Made in Abyss and Girls Last Tour just overall needed more recognition within the greater anime community. I was thrilled whenever Made in Abyss won 2 awards, the chief of which being Anime of the Year. I believe it also won Best Score, and it definitely deserved that, as Made in Abyss's score was just fantastic. Capturing so many different emotions, environments, ideas. The complexity of that score is just, it's off the charts, man. There's just so much done with it that I don't think any other anime from last year was able to do. And then, of course, it won Anime of the Year. I mean, you can't really get much more recognized than that. I actually wrote a video, and I'll go into this idea kind of here, because I don't think that video is ever going to be released for the reasons I said earlier. Talking about how I was conflicted, and I am still conflicted about this. I don't know what my Anime of the Year was last year, and I'm deciding between Made in Abyss and Girls Last Tour, because here's the thing. Made in Abyss, I think, is the better show. It is the better, better crafted, overall better show, in my opinion. But the thing is, it doesn't really have a lot of wide-reaching social commentary that I think is so important in anime nowadays, especially as anime is becoming more of an international medium. You know, the Japanese are producing it still. The vast majority of anime is still coming from Japan, but the medium has become so more widespread. You're seeing other people in other countries, even America with Netflix and their originals, you know, sponsoring Devilman. It's becoming such, you know, much more of an international medium, and with that in mind, I feel like good anime, widespread anime needs to start having more of a global reaching message. And that is what I think Girls Last Tour had. One thing that really bugs me about AniTube in general, and I think I've tweeted about this before, is that we seem to enjoy boxing Girls Last Tour into this really comfy, slice of life, turn on whenever you're bored and sad, and these girls will make you happy anime. And that's not a problem necessarily, because that's what it is a lot of the time. It's just, every single time I hear analysis of the show, save for one example, which I will point out in a couple of minutes, they don't really go into that. They don't really go further than that, and that bugs me, because it's a show that deserves to have more analysis done on it. It provides a very, I'm going to mispronounce it, a very pungent, a very clear anti-war message, especially in the last episode with that montage, that really hit home for me, especially with all the, you know, with how much our world powers are struggling for control, how much nonsense is going on in the world politically, and just how much tension there is in general. I feel like having that really calm, really safe, and very digestible anti-war message in this setting that not a lot of people would expect to have, really showed a unique vision on the part of both the mangaka and the staff of the anime, because it's just so important to hear those types of messages nowadays, to see them, or for people who consume anime to understand those sorts of messages, because you just don't see them in anime very often. A lot of anime is very fascist in nature, just describing it as, not like the political system, but just ideologically. A lot of it is might makes right. A lot of it is whatever the correct solution is, that's what will prevail through the will of the person who believes it. And again, not necessarily saying that that is a bad thing, it's just what it is, I believe. But Girls Last Tour presented it in a much more digestible way for an audience that is not accustomed, say, to that sort of message. If you're watching this show, you're generally, and I'm speaking generally here, not like trying to encompass everything, but generally, you're a cute girls type of person. You're not really into anime, or at least into this type of anime, for deep, overarching, international lessons. You're not really looking to, I don't want to say think all that much, but you're not really looking to engage with the material on more than a surface level. And that, again, that's not a problem. That's why these types of shows exist. But to have this message conveyed to you in that setting, in a way that is still pungent and effective, is masterful. And I feel like we just did not give Girls Last Tour enough credit for that. And that's why I think, that's why I'm conflicted. Because in terms of, like, if you want to take the phrase Anime of the Year 2017 semantically, and really split semantic hairs there, Anime of the Year 2017. If I take that to mean what anime defined the year 2017. And I think that comes down to two options, really, and Made in Abyss is not one of them. Because Made in Abyss, it was the best, in terms of consensus opinion, best anime of 2017, and that showed in it winning the award. But in terms of an anime that represented the world, in terms of an anime that represented culture in 2017, I think you have to either give that to My Hero Academia or Girls Last Tour. My Hero Academia, just because it was so widespread and popular, is the Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, Mirai Nikki, whatever, of 2017. But Girls Last Tour really presented a message that is very timely and worldly in 2017. So if you want to go out from that perspective, I think you need to name Girls Last Tour the anime of 2017. I just don't know what perspective to go at, because both shows deserve in their own right to have recognition on the highest level. And I feel like if I say that Girls Last Tour should be the anime of 2017, it means I'm saying that My Hero Academia or Made in Abyss suck, or aren't nearly as good at it. And that's just not true. Both things are true. Both shows, all three of those shows, are incredibly good, and deserve a lot of recognition, but it's very hard to equally recognize the three of them whenever they all stand for such vastly different things. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Crunchyroll Anime Awards.